Welcome!
Hi, everybody.
We're missing somebody.
We're missing somebody. We
Smeegs
got
is
Gollum
here.
here.
Smeegs is here. I like how I call him Smeegs.
No, he's Smeagol. He's got the eyes.
Yeah,
the
he's got the
Smeagol
nice
eyes.
Smeagol eyes.
The Smeagol eyes. The Smeagol.
Yeah, Brandon is out of town.
He's on the road.
On the road.
He is somewhere between Commerce, Texas, and Peoria, Illinois.
Yep.
But on the road.
So you're just stuck with us today.
Yeah.
If there's anybody out there, this episode, we did not promote it very well. It was like all went up today. Oh, well, whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know if you could hear that, but Leia just made like this yawn.
Yeah, we're going to hear her quite a bit because, she's not in here with us. And we can't have her in here with us. She looks so sad.
I know. Okay. Well, anyway. Do you want me to lead? Do you want to lead?
Oh, I have.
What do we wanna do?
You led last time.
Okay, then you can go. So do you need a countdown? You're just gonna take it away and do your thing. Oh, Jack is here! Yay!
Ooh, pistachio strawberry mocha. Very nice.
Damn, Jack. Damn.
All right.
Oh, Katie and Adam are here! Yay!
Now we just need your mom.
Oh, she won't be here. She's doing horse stuff.
Well, how are we gonna tell her Happy Mother's Day?
Well, I already told her Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to
all the moms.
Everybody out there.
Which, really, we don't have any moms on the show right
now.
No,
Katie's a cat mom now. This is her
mom.
first Mother's Day as a cat mom.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool picture that she sent with the cat with Poe up on.
Oh, up on the
cat.
window. What? Yeah, yesterday's when he was. Oh, now I know what it's like. Poe was on her cat tower, just looking out at the grand view, just the sun on her, and it was a beautiful picture. So
yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah. So anyway, happy Mother's Day to any other mothers out there of humans or animals alike.
Yeah, so happy Mother's Day to you. You're 3 times a mom.
I'm three times a mom.
3 times a mom.
3 times a mom.
Man, that birthing was rough.
It was, yeah. God, can you imagine 4 arms coming out?
Oh God, no.
Anyway, all right, you ready?
Yeah, that's just
It's gross.
not.
No,
Yeah, all right.
Well, I guess that's the same amount of limbs as a normal human, but they're
Yeah, I
positioned
guess
a little differently.
All right, let's talk about.
All right, let's get into the show. This is getting way off track already, and Brandon's not even here.
I know, right? So this is what you get when Brandon's not here.
All right, ready? You got to give me a good edit pause. So.
Wait a minute, what? I wasn't. Oh, okay.
Oh man! Don't get distracted by the comments.
Well, I got my glasses on. I can read them. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Cosmos with Cosmos. As always, I'm Mike.
I'm Liz.
And we don't have Brandon.
No.
No Brandon. So if you're expecting it, I'm Brandon.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen today. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about little fluffy clouds out in space.
Happy little fluffy clouds.
Happy little fluffy clouds. Every time I say that, I think of the orb and little fluffy clouds.
Oh, I think of Bob Ross.
Oh, okay.
Painting the little happy little fluffy clouds.
So yeah, at Arizona Science Center, we used to play that song "Little Fluffy Clouds" by the Orb because it had an Arizona connection to it.
I don't know what that song is. Can you sing it?
I cannot sing it, but the lady in it that they recorded said that when she was growing up as a little kid, there were always little fluffy clouds in Arizona.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah, but you don't see that anymore, is what she said.
It's just heat
unfortunately,
death.
We can't play it on this podcast because we'll be sued.
Oh, well then.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk drinks because that's what we do, right?
Well, what? Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah. So, Liz, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Rosette Nebula.
The Rosette Nebula,
which is a real nebula out there in space. And this Rosette Nebula that I have is made of vodka, amaretto, cranberry juice,
one more, orange juice,
and orange juice. The Rosette Nebula.
Rosette Nebula, everybody.
What are you drinking, Mike?
I'm actually Very similar to yours in a way. I am drinking what's called a CwC Nebula, and it has vodka, orange juice, cranberry juice, but instead of amaretto, it has mango rum.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so very similar. So cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it was behind the microphone. Cheers.
Cheers. Nothing like drinking cranberry juice and rum, because the rum and the cranberry juice just sit on top. And it didn't diffuse down. It. Well, no, you're not supposed to mix it. Usually the cranberry takes it straight down.
Oh, okay.
But I think my Death Star got in the way and just kind of rolled over the top.
Okay, yeah, we have Death Star ice cubes.
Yep.
You can't see, but we do.
And Jack is drinking a pistachio strawberry mocha, which was inspired by a trip to the Ren Fair yesterday.
Oh, man, it's been so long since I've been to the Ren Fair. I miss it. I want to go to a Ren Fair.
Well, we probably would have gone this year. Well, it's coming up in August, I think.
Right, they have a 1 day Ren Fair here in Utah.
Salt Lake City. So, but maybe we can go, assuming COVID's all right.
Yeah.
So, speaking of COVID, anybody in India, we're thinking about you. Please stay safe and healthy. I know it's hard, but please do that. Mm-hmm. If anybody's listening to us from India, probably not.
I don't know.
But still, We're sending it out there. All right, so let's talk about a few rules here.
Yes, rules.
Yes. If you hear a dog bark, we've already received our package for the day.
Yay!
So they bark. It's not because of that. But anyway, if you hear a dog bark, take a drink. Any kind of Star Wars reference, take a drink. Any Lord of the Rings reference, which will probably not happen. Maybe it will.
Because Braden's not here and he's the main offender of Lord of the Rings references.
But it could happen. But take a drink. And also, please follow us on all the things. Twitter at Drinking Cosmos, and on Insta, which is Cosmos with Cosmos. Follow us, rate us, listen to the podcast, listen wherever you get your podcast from. Join us for the hangover. And of course, always on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, you can watch the things on YouTube.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. So, well, when we say little fluffy clouds in space, what are we actually referring to?
Well, we're not talking about like little clouds like we think of here on Earth, but there's basically clouds of dust and gas out in space, and there's different kinds. You have stellar nurseries, so you have where stars are being born. Uh-huh. You have clouds of gas, representing the end of life of stars. So you have the beginning of the life of a star and the end of the life of a star with these little fluffy clouds. So we're talking stellar nurseries. We're talking planetary nebulae, which sounds like they have everything to do with planets. We'll talk about that. And then you have supernova remnants, which was a star, but it's no star no more. Went boom.
Yeah. And if the term nebula is not necessarily familiar to you, you have most likely seen nebula pictures online, and they look like just these beautiful, colorful clouds in space, essentially.
Yeah, they'll have like swirls of color to them. And I'm sure that a while back, maybe if you've bought a stamp, I know you're going, what the hell's a fucking stamp?
A stamp? Well, like what kind of stamp? What do you use stamps for?
It's this little thing that you can actually put on an envelope. Now,
what is that?
It's like a box, but it's made of paper.
What?
Yes, and you can write a letter.
How does that survive long distance traveling?
I don't know. It's magic. I think it's the owls. The Harry Potter owls that take them, and they take good care of it. Yeah, so, but yeah, on one of those stamps, I forgot where we were going. Yeah. On one of those stamps was a picture of the Eagle Nebula. It's called the Pillars of Creation.
Yeah. And we have a past episode that you can find where we talk all about the Eagles of Creation with the What? What'd I say?
The eagles of creation. The pillars of creation.
The Eagle Nebula. The pillars of creation with Jeff Hester, Dr. Jeff Hester, who took that picture.
Yeah, he did with the Hubble Space Telescope.
So you can listen to that past episode.
Yeah, it was
I don't remember,
about a year ago. April, March, somewhere around in there.
Oh, it was over a year ago. It was before the pandemic started.
February, January.
2019? I don't know. Time. What is it?
Yes. I was gonna make a reference to the Eagles of Lord of the Rings, but
well, you just did. Eagles of Lord of the Rings. Everybody, take a drink. You can't say you're gonna make a reference. It still counts as you making a reference.
I was gonna say something different, but I just I couldn't think of anything witty. So.
Yes, Jack. Strong drink already.
Actually, the other one's a little bit stronger. I report the Amaretto.
Oh, wow.
And I had to compensate with extra
Round
vodka.
Round 2's going to come in hot.
So, yeah, good luck with that. But anyway, why don't we just talk about... all right, so those are really the different types of nebulae that are out there. So why don't we just kind of talk about them a little bit?
Okay.
We'll begin with maybe the stellar nursery, because that's the beginning.
Yes.
Beginning of a star's life. Right there.
I love it.
So out in space, you have these huge clouds of dust and gas. Now, what's interesting, though, is you really don't find these clouds of dust and gas in, like, elliptical galaxies, because elliptical galaxies don't have a lot of dust in them. Globular clusters don't have a lot of dust in them. Those aren't galaxies, though. They kind of they orbit galaxies. But where you do find a lot of dust and gas is out in the spiral arms of spiral galaxies. So even in the heart of our own Milky Way, in the bulge.
The bulge, the central
bulge
of
the Milky Way, you don't find a lot of dust and gas, so you don't have a lot of star formation there. But out in the spiral arms, you do find these things of dust and gas. And probably the most famous one is our favorite, and it is the closest one to us. Talking about diffuse stellar nurseries here. That is the Great Orion Nebula.
I love the Orion. Wait, it's the closest one to us?
It's the closest one that's a stellar nursery. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's its distance?
1,300 light years away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still super far.
Yeah.
But really, not that far.
No, and you can see it. You can see it with the naked eye. It's in the bottom of the sword.
You need
a dark
Skies,
location,
though.
Yeah, but
this is one of the things I love about the Orion Nebula. So, it's in the constellation of Orion. And it's in the in between the last two stars in his sword, but
just a tip.
It's in the tip of its sword, and it's a stellar nursery where stars are being born. So you could say it's Orion's baby maker.
Orion's baby maker. Yep.
It took me a while to get there. I understand, but
oh yeah, I knew where you're going. I even got to have a little drink.
I have to drag out the cheese.
You do. You do drag it out. All right, so so that's the closest one to us, and incredibly beautiful, very large. Yes. It is the most photographed nebulae in the sky.
Yeah, just Google Orion Nebula and bam, it's just.
Yeah, or you can come to our house and look on our wall.
Yeah.
We have it in our living room wall, it has been forming stars for millennia, millions of years actually, and right now, so it's formed a lot of stars.
Can I ask, how is it forming those stars?
Well, funny you should ask. Okay, so you have this huge cloud of dust and gas, and who knows really and truly how the process starts? It could be a supernova that happens nearby, and that shock wave goes out and compresses part of that that cloud of dust and gas. But it doesn't matter. But in the end, part of that dust and gas gets denser, And if it's denser, that means it has more gravity. It's able to attract more dust and gas. And as more dust and gas falls onto this seed, this kernel, it gets bigger, it gets more massive, it attracts more stuff, it gets hotter, and eventually it gets big enough and hot enough that in the very center of it, it can fuse hydrogen into helium, and at that moment, it becomes a star.
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born, yes.
Starring Lady Gaga.
And what's his face? Who is it?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. That's who it is.
Rocket.
I can see him, but all right.
That's so cool. And so like in these stellar nurseries, these nebulae, you have these different pockets of dense material where stars are starting to form.
Yeah, and before we actually see that newly created star, it is in this cocoon that we call a propylid, and the Hubble Space Telescope has actually seen them. The Hubble Space Telescope taking pictures of the Orion Nebula, taking pictures of the Eagle Nebula. I almost did like the pillars of the eagle or whatever. The Eagle Nebula. It has actually seen these little propylids, these cocoons that surround this star, and the star is forming. Inside of that cocoon is a baby star and planets that possibly have formed around it. And eventually that star will, with its light and its solar wind, will blow that cocoon away, kind of like a butterfly, revealing itself to the rest of the universe, allowing us to see it. It's really a beautiful thing to think about.
That was beautiful, what you just said. That was just the most poetic thing.
It is very... The universe is poetic.
The universe is poetic.
All I'm doing is reciting what the universe has already written, but it's an amazing thing to think about.
It really is.
And little baby stars.
Baby stars.
Yeah, and the Orion Nebula is part of a larger complex called the Orion Nebula Molecular Complex.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so it's part of this much bigger thing, but. Many stars have been created, and the Orion Nebula itself has enough mass to create 2,000 more stars, which won't necessarily do that, but it has enough mass to do it. And then what is amazing to think about, and I think it's sad for humanity beyond, but for us, I think it's just a beautiful thing to think about, is that this isn't forever. The Orion Nebula is probably only going to last about 100,000 more years. And all those little baby stars are going to be the death of it. That light is just going to kind of vaporize the rest of the nebula, blowing it away. And it's called photovaporization. And
photovaporization.
Yeah. And
that's your word of the day, everybody. Photovaporization.
Yeah, and so just think about it. You're just here at an amazing time in the life of the universe, and then you can actually see the Orion Nebula.
I think my dad is watching and sent a comment via text, personal text, and he said, I thought it was Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand was the original A Star is Born, but I'm referencing the remake, because...
Barbra Streisand and what's his face?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper was in it, too.
Oh my god! I have a question that I was thinking about while you were talking about that. The propylids that are the cocoons for stars, are those also what's called the eggs, the evaporating gaseous globules, or are eggs something different?
Well, that's a good question. They're related. If they're not the same thing, they're related.
Okay. So there's these other features that you can see.
Yeah, protoplanetary disks. Propylids are protoplanetary disks. No, okay, so I would say the eggs are probably the cocoons.
Okay, so the eggs are the cocoons, which are called evaporating gaseous globules, eggs. So they're the eggs.
Yeah, and I think Hester came up with that. I think Hester came up with that.
I like that, because it's like they're little cocoons, little eggs that are going to hatch some planets.
Yep. So, and I think the disk is the protoplanetary disk.
Okay.
So, Now I want to know who was in there with Barbara.
We'll look it up later, or look it up and let us know.
Well, your dad can do it.
Yeah, Dad, you text me who was in the movie with Barbara Streisand.
The Orion Nebula is not the only one that's out there. Like we've referenced the Eagle Nebula. Mm-hmm. That is in the constellation of Serpens, which I believe is near Sagittarius.
Serpens is
north of Sagittarius.
Yes, because Ophiuchus is holding Serpens, isn't he?
Ophiuchus, yeah, I think.
Yeah, so
he's got his two snakes.
Yeah, so the constellation Ophiuchus, dim constellation, also technically a 13th zodiac sign. Astrology's bullshit. But Serpens he's holding him, and Ophiuchus is supposed to be a healer, and the snake is in that medical symbol, so they go together. There's a whole thing. Maybe we'll talk about it one day.
But not today.
But not today.
But the Eagle Nebula is in it. And it has given birth to about 8,100 stars. And it's about 5,700 light years away, so about 3 times the distance.
Oh, okay. That's a lot farther.
Than the Orion Nebula. And it, too, will last for about 100,000 years. And if you've listened to the podcast in the past... Brandon has talked about a supernova that occurred near the Eagle Nebula. For a moment, I was like, what the hell are we talking about? That occurred near the Eagle Nebula and how its shockwave could have destroyed the pillars of creation.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, that did not happen. And so, so they looked at... Where they got the supernova thing from was the Spitzer Space Telescope. May it rest in peace.
Oh, Spitzer!
It took a picture of the Eagle Nebula and found what they thought was a supernova remnant, and the shock wave. We would have seen it here on Earth, 1,000, 2,000 years ago. Something like that, but the slower moving shock wave they thought would have torn apart.
Oh, okay.
However, the Hubble Space Telescope took 2 pictures of the Eagle Nebula 20 years apart and found that most likely, no, that the pillars are still there.
Okay.
And they will last for about another 100,000 years, like the Orion Nebula.
So that means there have been so many amazing nebulae throughout the history of the universe that have long since been dispersed and evaporated and come and gone.
That we don't even know about.
And we never will know about.
Like our sun. Our sun was formed in a cloud of dust and gas 4.5 billion years ago. And we don't see it anymore. I mean, because it's evaporated.
Yeah.
And so the question is...
Wow, okay.
The Big Dipper, those 7 stars, they're all brothers and sisters born from the same cloud of dust and gas. That has evaporated as well. When you look at the Pleiades, Subaru, did we talk about that last time?
We did on our Tipsy Stars Drunk Planetarium episode. So check that shit out.
Yeah, all of those are brothers and sisters. In fact, you can see 7 or 8 with your eyes, but there's over 400 stars in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they're all born out of the same cloud of dust and gas. In fact, you can see wisps of that cloud of dust and gas.
Oh, you can.
Still there, right? Chris Christopherson with Barbara Streisand. Thank you, Katie.
Ah, hey.
That was Whiplash.
Solving mysteries here on Cosmos with Cosmos.
Yes, Chris Christopherson is with the Pleiades.
I was like, what?
He's that wisp of cloud and dust and gas. Yeah, so, I mean, I never really thought about that until you brought it up.
So then, when our sun, turned on the nuclear fusion, it was, born, then what did the surrounding view look like? Would that nebulae still have been there? And so...
Yeah, it would have until... Well, all right, here's the big question. Does our sun have brothers and sisters? Our sun formed 4.5 billion years ago, and, like all brothers and sisters, you go your own way in life. You can still be connected. You and Katie can still be connected, but you do, you go your own way. And so our sun went its own way from its brothers and sisters, if it had any. But I've also heard that, the sun could have been a single star born in this cloud of dust and gas, which is really exceedingly rare in the universe. You just rarely get one star form.
It's like Luke, our parents' dog, our family dog. One of them, Luke. He's a Malamute, a big, fluffy, handsome wolf, and he was the only one of his litter. He was an only child,
and that's rare.
And he's a little weird from it, but it's a rare thing.
It is a very rare thing. So yeah, let's just say our son had brothers and sisters, and together they would have, with their solar wind and their radiation, would have blown away.
Wow.
So basically, the children of these clouds of dust and gas spell the demise of the cloud and dust and gas.
Oh wow! They just
children cannibalizing.
There's parents. Birth control for you, everyone. Your children will destroy you.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom.
It's true with humans.
Happy Mother's Day!
Yes. True with humans, true with stars.
Wow. I just wish I could see what our nebula looked like.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
Wouldn't it? Oh man.
Yeah, it would be awesome to have a time machine, go back and see that beginning of the solar system, to see the dinosaurs, but also go forward in time to see what we do with this place. Hopefully, we get our shit together and do the right thing. So that's the beginning of a star's life.
We can't move on without, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Jack's comment, which is the wisp of the Pleiades, I'm assuming, would definitely be a good description of Chris Christopherson's beard. We're doing a lot of shit on Chris Christopherson.
Jack knows all about beards.
That's true, he does.
You know what? I think Jack should shave his beard and send a picture to us.
Oh no.
That'd be so weird. So weird to see.
It'd be weird, yeah.
Yeah, no. Don't do that, Jack. Please don't do that.
On to other beards in space. We'll rename this episode Little Fluffy Beards in Space.
Little Fluffy Beards. Doesn't go with the orb.
We got a question from the audience. Aren't Oort clouds a thing? Yes, they are a thing.
There's one.
But it's not. But it's one thing.
Yeah, it is a cloud of long-term comets.
Yeah.
Left over from the formation of the solar system.
That kind of encompasses our solar system. So what I always like to say is we live in a hamster ball of comets.
Oh, that's a great way. That's a great way of describing it. Yeah, and we just, as we go around the
and we call it the Oort cloud because it was discovered by some guy named Oort.
Jan Oort.
There we go.
Yeah, it was theorized by Jan Oort.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be hypothesized? Do they have the evidence yet to make it a theory?
Yeah, there's so many. Yes, it's.
Okay. Theorized. All right.
The long-term comments.
I was just checking. I was just doing a check on your usage of theory.
Yeah, no, it's that's correct. There's a lot of evidence for it, but these comets are so small and so far away.
Yeah.
The Oort cloud kind of extends maybe possibly halfway out to the nearest star, so a couple light years.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So yes, the Oort clouds are a thing, and it's our thing, and we live in it.
And it is singular, so there's one.
So just one.
Having said that, every star probably has their own Oort cloud. They just call it something different.
Oh shit. Okay, we're going to go down a rabbit hole if I linger on that thought for too long. So let's get back into little fluffy beard clouds.
All right, so that's the beginning of a star's life. And they go along and they live their merry life. They go around.
Burning their fuel up.
Go around.
Burping.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
And they go around the center of the galaxy. But eventually there comes a day where their life must end.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
And you can get a couple different types of nebulae from that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have what's called planetary nebulae, and then you have supernova remnants. Both of them are basically shells of gas and dust.
Corpse, the lifeless husk of a star.
Exactly. That got dark.
We're going dark. We're going to death. We went from birth. We're going to death. Things get
true.
dark.
That's true. So let's talk planetary nebulae first, because that is what our sun is going to become.
It's our future.
That is our future.
What's it have to do with planets?
Nothing.
Hey.
But when you look at them through a telescope, they're disc shaped in the telescope.
Okay, so it's
and so they look like
planetary
little
disc.
planets. They look like planetary discs.
All right.
And so they have nothing to do with planets other than they may destroy the planets that are going around them, or at least sterilize those planets pretty well.
So what's our future?
So as our sun gets older, it's going to use up the hydrogen in its core, and it's going to start burning helium into carbon, and it's going to get hotter, and that heat is going to make the sun expand into a red giant. The Earth could be enveloped by that
most
big
likely,
old blooded sun.
asterisk most likely.
Most likely, if not, we're the closest planet to it.
And that's not great either. Nope. So it might as well envelop the Earth at that point.
Our atmosphere is stripped. We die.
Question on that. All right. So Earth is fucked, but our lifeless rovers on Mars, how are they doing? Other than not moving, but are they like just hanging out, enjoying the view?
Well, for a moment. I mean, Mars' atmosphere is going to be stripped, and those things are going to be just eaten alive with all kinds of radiation. But, the metal is going to be able to handle it.
Well, to be fair, in about 5 billion years when this occurs, well, it'll begin in about 2 billion-ish, but, I mean, those rovers are going to be probably so buried under dirt and dust at that point.
Yeah. And so basically our sun's going to fluff off its outer layers, and those outer layers are going to go out into space and create these just beautiful spherical clouds surrounding basically the corpse of the sun. And so these are going to go out into space, these envelopes, these shells of dust and gas with beautiful colors. Like there's the Ring Nebula. The outer layer is reddish in color, which is hydrogen. But the inner layer is kind of a greenish, bluish color, which is from oxygen.
Okay.
And so
now we don't actually see those as colors, though.
Well, not when we just pop our eye to a telescope. No.
Yeah.
Because our eye, basically, think of your eye as a camera. The eye takes a really quick picture and sends it to the brain. It doesn't have enough time to really absorb those red photons and those green photons to give you your color. So what it looks like is kind of a grayish color. Okay. But if you could open up your eye and not
so if you could do a real long exposure.
Long exposure, that's the word I was looking for. With your eye, it's funny how we have technology that allows us to do that called a camera. you build up those red photons, those green ones, blue ones, and you can get the colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was the CwC Nebula, maybe, that was first photographed in the 1880s.
I think you might be right. That sounds familiar, but okay.
Yeah, and so that's our sun's future, and our sun what will happen is it fluffs off this outer atmosphere. It will shrink down to what we call a white dwarf, which is the mass of the sun, basically in an object the size of the Earth. Really compact white dwarf.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of examples of planetary nebulae. Probably the more famous ones are the Ring Nebula, maybe the CwC Nebula, the Helix Nebula.
Yeah,
is another one. So you can Google those.
I think the Ring and the CwC do a really good job of where you see that white dwarf, and then you can see that shelling out very clearly, and it's just very obvious.
Yeah, and
gorgeous.
We have the Ring Nebula on our wall as well. So
just a space house is what it is.
This is completely a space nerd house, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, the Eskimo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is fun as well. Didn't we talk about the Eskimo last time?
We did, yeah. And then I was like, oh, we should probably rename it to like Inuit Nebula. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that probably won't happen. So, the Ring Nebula is in the constellation of Lyra. So this summer coming up, Lyra is a summertime constellation. You can go out and see it. The Cat's Eye Nebula is in Draco.
Okay, and we talked about Draco on our Tipsy Stars episode in the north.
Yeah, and Eskimo is in Gemini. And that's going to be setting. So your time to see the Eskimo is limited. But you can also... You can also Google it. It is just an absolutely beautiful picture. Yeah, all of these are beautiful.
All of these make the most gorgeous images. I mean, space is gorgeous. It's for all its empty black nothingness, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, it is empty, but when it is punctuated by an actual object, it's incredible. And you don't even have to look at these clouds of dust and gas out there. Look at galaxies. Look at Jupiter. Juno. Oh my God. The images from the Juno spacecraft at Jupiter has just been, they are true works of art.
Yeah.
They really are. These are images that you could download and you could print it off. You can put it in a frame and put it on your wall. And people will be like, hey, wow, that's an amazing piece of art. Where'd you get it? From fucking NASA. That's where we got it. From space. And, yeah. But those aren't... Well, I mean, it is a cloud of gas and dust. Jupiter
it is. I mean, primarily. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But different. It's a planet.
You know what? Gas might just be the most beautiful state of matter.
Yeah. It might be. It might very well be. And let's just bring it to the supernova remnant. Oh. Yes, and so
not a quiet death.
No, definitely not a quiet demise of a star. So our sun will do this real kind of graceful fluffing off of its outer atmosphere,
like it's shedding coats.
Yeah, and creating these beautiful planetary nebulae as it shrinks down to a white dwarf. But you have stars that are more massive than our sun, and they end their lives in a very different way.
They go boom.
They do go boom. They end their life in a supernova explosion, an explosion that rips the star apart and just sends these stellar guts out into space.
Stellar guts?
Stellar guts. Oh,
I like that. Space. Stellar guts.
In all directions. And we call it what's left over, the crime scene of the pictures of this death of stars, supernova remnants. And what the star that is the quote-unquote star that's left over will either be a neutron star or in some cases a black hole. But the cloud of dust and gas surrounding it is just incredibly beautiful. And one of the more famous ones is the Crab Nebula, also known as Messier Object M1.
Yes, most people know it as Messier Object M1.
Yeah, you all know it as that. Yeah.
Oh, Katie just made a good point. Stellar Guts is a great band name. Yes.
That could be either a punk band or a metal band.
It could. I would say more punk though, actually.
Yeah, Stellar Guts.
Yeah, because I can imagine some very like Rick and Morty imagery that would be on like the album cover. Anyway.
Yeah, and so the Crab Nebula, located in the constellation of Taurus Bull, a wintertime constellation, which also Jeff Hester worked on that as well.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And okay, wait a minute. You can watch, but you can't join.
Someone's not Anyway, Brandon has joined us from the comments. This is how he will be contributing to the episode.
Okay, Brandon, thanks. Anyway, the Crab Nebula, though, historically, it was seen. It was seen in the daytime. And there's actually pictures, petroglyph, pictograph?
Petroglyph?
It's on rocks.
Petroglyph.
It's on rocks. Petroglyphs. It's on rocks.
Pictionary?
Yeah, I know, right? And I know, right? Right, Jack? You better not be texting and driving. Anyway, it's in New Mexico. I believe it's in New Mexico. And I wish I could remember the name of it. But it has in it is a crescent moon, a hand.
Oh, is it the Anasazi?
The
Anasazi one, yeah.
And
Anasazi.
a bright star, and they think that might be the Crab Nebula.
But isn't at the same time there's also recordings in China
yep.
Of it as well, and so they could use those historical documents to corroborate the information and prove that the event had happened.
Yeah, that true.
Yeah.
So it was seen worldwide, and that was in 1054.
Yeah.
So 1,000 years ago, not even 1,000 years ago.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, and it's 6,500 light years away, and it has a pulsar in the middle of it. And what's really cool is that there are videos is not the right word, but NASA has turned them into videos where you can see animations where you can see it pulsing.
Yeah.
And expanding.
Because over time, the imagery over time.
Yeah.
You composite them. You composite the imagery together.
And to bring it full circle, what I find amazing is the universe recycles itself.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah, and so stars, like the one that created the Crab Nebula and other supernova remnants that are out there, like 1987A, which is down in the Large Magellanic Clouds.
Sure.
One of the Magellanic Clouds.
Yeah.
They send dust and gas out everywhere.
Just throwing it up.
And some of that dust and gas ends up in another cloud of dust and gas, like the Orion Nebula, another potential stellar nursery. And it compresses that cloud of dust and gas. But the remnants of that old star now become part of this new cloud of dust and gas. And compresses it, it starts to collapse, and it starts to create a new star. And so what is left over, so elements from this original star are now in a new star. And so when you have gold on your finger, or whatever, those were created.
Iron in your blood.
Iron, yes, it was created in a star before our star was born. That star destroyed itself in a supernova explosion. The iron in your blood went out. Calcium from your bones went out. I'll get there.
I know.
That became part of this cloud of dust and gas that became our sun, became our earth, and we are what?
Made of stardust.
We are made of stardust. We are connected to not only the stars that we see, we're connected to the stars that were before. And we are just fundamentally connected to the universe. In a real beautiful, powerful kind of way. And, that is just one of the real reasons why I love astronomy. Is just, thinking about that kind of stuff. And yes, we walked out of a supernova. I don't know if that is Laconia or Brandon, but we walked out of a supernova. And that's so very true. It's an amazing thing to think about. And if you don't look at the universe or think about the universe and, get lost in the beauty of it, then you're just a sick individual.
Then fuck you. Get out of here.
You have no place in humanity.
I like how just wonderfully beautiful and emotional that was, and then it took just a hard, sharp
turn.
left.
Yeah.
That's how we roll here on Cosmos.
Yeah, so...
I love it. I love nebulae, and I think that is my favorite concept of the universe ever, is we're made of stardust.
Yeah, thank you, Carl Sagan.
And thank you, Target.
Yeah, for the shirt.
Yeah.
I know. Target.
Technically, it's a pajama shirt, but it was worth it for this episode.
I know, right? And you know what? I think that might be where we end it.
All right.
And then go right on into the hangover.
Cool.
You have any final
good.
thoughts?
Just Google the shit out of nebulae. And if you ever have the opportunity to go to a star party or do any kind of telescope, an observatory, like Kit Peak in Tucson, they do tours and overnight things you can book. To see some of these objects with your own actual eyes, do
pass
it.
it up.
It's amazing and awe-inspiring, and space is great.
It is, and you know what? Also, if you can't make it to a star party, please visit your local planetarium.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please visit. Please visit your local planetarium.
If you're in Phoenix, Arizona, there's a good one in Mesa.
Mesa Community College. They have a good one. Tucson has a great planetarium there. You can always go to Jack's Planetarium as well.
Rolling Bluffs Planetarium.
Yes.
Oh no.
Jack does say, do not search
don't.
shit nebula. The results are not good. No,
No.
I would think not.
No.
So please don't do that. But do visit your planetariums. Go to Jack's Planetarium if you're in the local neighborhood. Go to the Portland Planetarium at OMSI. Just please visit those planetariums. They need your support to stay open with COVID and all of that. Support anywhere where you can actually see the universe. It's
But
an
safely.
amazing thing. But safely.
Do it safely.
Yes, but
We're not out of the woods yet, people.
No, we're not. Wear your mask. Yeah, just look at the universe, whether it's through a telescope, through a planetarium, or just through Google searches. It's a beautiful and amazing place. And with that, I say we call it a day.
Okay.
On Little Fluffy Clouds. And stay with us as we go into the hangover.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Cheers.
All right. We're going to go to the hangover, but we're going to take a short break. If I can get my mouse working. Smeagol.
At least Smeagol's here.
Smeags is here. All right. So we will be right back. Hang tight for a few minutes.
Okay, all right. I was going to wait for you to say, hey, because I didn't know if.
Okay.
Cool. Well, welcome back. Welcome to the Hangover. And to be honest, we got nothing.
Yeah, we're just hanging out now.
So we thought that we would ask you what your favorite nebula is. Maybe if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer them. With the caveat that we might just say, I don't know. Don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. I wore my nebula leggings for the event today, just FYI.
Wow. First of all, I thought you were in Kick the Mic. But second of all, I'm really impressed with the ability to... I see my knee would break in half.
It would, yeah.
It would shatter. Definitely would break in half. All right, so, I mean, we've already talked about our favorite nebula. It's the Orion Nebula.
The Orion Nebula.
Yeah, and it really is...
Orion's baby maker.
From a dark location, and it doesn't have to be completely dark. I mean, we can go out and we can see what looks like a little fuzzy star.
I feel like you're going to need some good eyesight, though.
Well, maybe so. But we can see it from here in Ogden. But if you are from a very dark location...
You can? Have you seen it?
Well, I have seen what I think was it. I have seen a little fuzzy star where I think the Orion Nebula is.
Okay, then.
But I say that knowing full well that I'm sitting here wearing glasses.
Right. So you might be able to see it from a semi-light polluted city.
You definitely can see it from... you definitely can see it from a dark location. And Katie, I'll answer your question in a moment after I take a break. I will answer it!
Okay. You wouldn't know about that shirt if it wasn't for me.
That is very true. This shirt is courtesy of Liz. I bought it. She told me about the Pride section down at Target. And
wait, don't say Target until they start giving us money.
The Pride section at a
store with a bullseye logo.
Their logo is a red bullseye, and it has little rainbow-colored ice cream cones.
Yeah, like frozen yogurt cones.
Yep.
It's super cute.
Yeah. And there was also a tank top I wanted. I didn't have it in my large girl size, so didn't get it. But I will keep looking. So, but Liz found it, and she let me know about it.
But thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you. What were we talking about? The
Orion Nebula.
Yeah.
And seeing it.
But anyway.
But maybe not being able to see it.
Yeah. But even in, I love seeing it in a telescope as well. And when we would go out when we would go out with the telescopes for star parties and take the telescope, it's just beautiful little gray wisp in the telescope. But in the back of your mind, you realize that it's got those just amazing colors and all that.
Oh, so. Do you think we've seen the last of Nebula in the MCU? Hey, nice tie-in there to nerddom.
No, I would say probably not.
No, I mean, they're still doing a Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
They got the Guardians.
So...
Guardians is coming out.
And then, I mean, I don't know, she'd be a good spin-off character, but we're so inundated. But anyway...
Yeah, what do we got? Loki's coming up next.
Yeah.
And what are they gonna do with Thor? I mean, we got a new Thor movie coming out, but he left with the Guardians. The last time we saw him, he was.
I want him to stay Fat Thor forever.
He's not.
Fat Thor is great.
Apparently.
Of course he's not, but
his stunt man can't keep up with his working out regiment. But
anyway, Nebula, great name of a character.
Yes, it is.
A nice tie-in to this theme.
Yep. Did you see Winter Soldier?
No, I was closing it out.
No, I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. We got nothing.
Back to.
We got nothing for this. So you see.
We can talk about more Nebula. Lee.
Okay. Anyway, what's some of your favorites you've seen, like through a telescope?
Oh God. Okay, Orion Nebula. Which you forgot to mention the trapezium.
Oh, within the Orion Nebula.
Within the Orion Nebula, it's like 4 bright stars that are kind of like the heart of the nebula.
And you know what I read is that with a telescope, you can, for 2 of them, you can see that they're actually binary stars with a really good telescope. So it's actually at least 6.
Oh shit!
But, yeah, they're all brothers and sisters, all born from the
cool.
Orion Nebula.
That's cool. Can we, is there a way to find out or trace a star that could be a brother, sister, a sibling star? I don't know why they're gendered, but a sibling star to our sun?
I think in 4.5 billion years it might be really difficult. To back the clock up.
Okay.
I mean, because the thing is, we can run the clock backwards, and we can look at stars and we know what direction they're going right now, and we can run the clock backwards, and go, okay, this is where they were 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
But the further back in time, the bigger the error that you would get in where they were.
Okay.
And so I don't think you can definitively
say.
Right,
because our sun's located. It's not like the sun is stationary on where it actually formed. The sun is moving through space and orbiting the Milky Way, so there's no way to really say.
And so we've gone around the center of the Milky Way, about 10 times? 10, 11, 12 times maybe in the life of the sun, and it's had a lot of interactions with other stars in that time, and they're all tugging and pulling on the sun and slightly changing its path around the center of the Milky Way, and so you just can't definitively say, hey, this star right here is the sibling of our sun.
So you can't have ancestry for stars.
No. But you can have the ancestry of stars that we can see now. Yeah. We can look at the Big Dipper and go, hey, 6 or 7 of those stars are related to each other. They're sharing the same proper motion through the galaxy.
Oh, I was going to ask. I was like, how can you tell? How do you know?
So if you see 7 stars that are moving together,
then it's
okay. You
the
guys are
of
probably
that would be like.
Then we can look at the we can look at the Pleiades, and we still see them tightly packed together.
Yeah.
And if you do have a group of stars that are really close to this is relatively speaking close to each other, really close to each other. Then they are probably most likely new stars formed not too long ago, and they're all related to each other.
That's cool. That's cool.
Because I think the stars in the Pleiades 400 million years old, and that's it.
Yeah, they're fairly young.
Yeah. The youngest star in the Orion Nebula, I think, is only 10,000 years old. Think about that. The youngest star emerged 10,000 years ago. Humanity was here. We were here.
In the Orion Nebula, not in the universe itself, but...
Humanity was on Earth, but the new star was in the Orion Nebula.
Wow.
Yeah. That is an amazing thing.
Cool. That's whack. I mean, space shit's happening at the same time we're doing our shit.
Yeah. Jack says it would be a super long period comet, but would it be cool if there was an area where the sun's orbit and Alpha Centauri's orbit touch, and it could cross between the two? That actually would be kind of cool.
It's an ort bumping, a bumping of orts.
Bumping of orts.
Comet entanglement.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be cool, though.
That would be really cool. We would get a comet from Alpha Centauri, and Alpha Centauri we can get one of our comets.
Interortmentional.
Wait a minute, what?
Interortmentional.
Interortmentional. Okay, very good. Yeah. I mean, that would really confuse the fuck out of, like, astronomers. Like, if you are, we're getting a Proxima Centauri comet coming through, and it comes through, and they analyze it, and they go, that's so different from any other comet that we've seen. I don't think that's a member of the Oort cloud. Yeah, but I mean,
and when it's going between the two, it's like going into the Oort. I'm just thinking of things with Oort now.
Yeah.
Like, you've been orted.
See what you did, Adam?
No, it was Jack.
Yeah, but Adam started it with the Oort cloud thing.
Oh, that's true.
So,
That's true.
long time ago, Adam started it. You owe me a cake. Or something baked. I don't know, something good.
There will be baking.
And they'll be drinking as well.
Anyway. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, anyway. The Ring Nebula is always fun to look at through a telescope.
Oh, yeah, the Ring's a good one. The Ring and, there's two I always get, maybe it's the Helix and the Ring that I always, Interstellar Exchange Program. I like it.
Well, the ring is easy to see. So, yeah.
There's the Ring.
What's the Helix in?
There's two I always confuse because they look very similar. Bump and Orts. Yes. Bump and Orts should be a space promo.
Space porn.
Champagne Supernova.
I don't even know where to go with that.
When we talked about Supernova, that would have been a good time to bring up Champagne Supernova.
Oh, yeah. Champagne Supernova?
Champagne Supernova in an oasis of death.
Wow.
Okay. Because it's a supernova. It's a dying star. So, and then oasis, Champagne Supernova.
Yeah. No,
You get?
Oh, I got it the first time you said it.
Okay.
You don't have to make me relive it.
I like to make sure everybody gets it.
Wow, man, bumping Orts, space porn. Well, I mean, it's true. It's true.
Oh, space porno. I read porno as promo. And I was like, yeah, it could be some good marketing.
No, space porn.
Yes, then yes. Copyrighted. All right. Man,
As if bumping Orts was not cool enough.
I mean, space is dirty. Let's be honest. Space is very dirty. I mean, first of all, what does it smell like again? Like burnt something? Like astronauts
I don't remember.
Said like it smells like...
I don't remember.
Anyway, I mean, it's dirty.
Burnt
You got all gases and dusts and particulates and radiation. Even though radiation, I guess, wouldn't necessarily be dirty because it's
well, when it burns you.
Yeah. Then it's just an asshole. It's a dirty asshole. So space is dirty, and then we have things like Orion's Baby Maker, galactic bulge. There's
been a lot of porn in this episode. It's kind of just under the surface.
That's just space.
Porn.
That's what I'm saying. It's just space.
Stars are born every day. Your sister.
Aren't they? They are born every day. They're born a lot. They're born very frequently.
Yeah, I wonder what their
I mean, I'm sure there's a rate. I'm sure but is that rate of star formation just for our galaxy then? And not necessarily throughout the whole universe?
I would bet you that you could extrapolate out the Milky Way's rate of making them star babies to other
spiral galaxies, large spiral galaxies. Yeah.
The rate for elliptical galaxies.
That's right. It'd be way low because there's not enough.
Pretty much zero.
Tonight at Bumpin' Orts, welcome to the stage, Orion's Baby Maker. Thanks, Jack.
Oh my God, that is a great. Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, tonight at Bumpin' Orts, welcome to the stage, Orion's Baby Maker.
Get ready to meet the tip of his sword. Hi, Dad.
Just a tip.
But if you want it, put a ring on it. Like the Ring Nebula.
Oh my god.
The Ring Nebula is, it's funny because it's named after a mood ring.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Because the colors are like a mood ring.
I did not know this.
Yeah, I believe I don't know.
Is
This
it
is a vague memory that I'm pulling from the depths of my...
Is it like angry
depends.
mood?
I guess it depends.
All right, so Katie wants to know, what is the deadliest galaxy? They're all deadly because they're
All
all
of them.
actively trying to kill
Every
you.
galaxy
Every
is deadly.
single fucking one of them. Space is trying to kill you,
All
no
the
matter
time.
what galaxy you're
in. a galaxy, out of a galaxy. It doesn't matter. A galaxy far, far away. It doesn't matter. And that was a drink.
Oh, yes it was. Yes it was. No eagles to save you.
No, god damn it.
Since Brandon is not here, the Eagles could have taken them all the way to Mordor.
We're gonna get some all
Mount
caps
Doom.
comments. Anyway. So all galaxies are deadly now, but is there like a spiral galaxy? Would it have more radiation due to all the star formation and stuff happening versus an elliptical galaxy that has not a lot of star formation happening and all its stars are... I don't know. What are all the stars in an elliptical galaxy? They're all, like, older? Because it's old.
Well, not necessarily. Well, yeah, probably at this point. Because for elliptical galaxies, you don't get any star formation anymore. So your really massive stars at this point maybe have died out.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not getting those supernova explosions and the radiation from them like you would in the arms of spiral galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I would say probably spiral galaxies. But you know what? When we look at some of the elliptical galaxies out there, they got some really big fucking black holes in the center of them, like M87 in its galaxies.
All right.
Who would win in the fight of galaxies? Who would be the top galaxy?
Our galaxy. Fuck with the milk, you're gonna get wet.
I was wondering where you're gonna go.
Strong bones.
I mean, you started well. You started strong with that.
Yep.
And
but it's like milk; it just kind of peters out. It's just spilt milk at that point. I mean, what is the largest galaxy?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, there's got to be a largest galaxy, right?
Well, M87's huge, I know that. I don't know if it's the largest galaxy, but the thing is, if you have an elliptical galaxy coming in and fighting with a spiral galaxy, the spiral galaxy is going to lose its shape really quick.
Yeah, ellipticals are more dense, so it's going to have more of a punch.
And it's more spherical shape or flat footballish shape. And I would say the ellipticals win. Because the ellipticals are going to destroy the shape of the spiral galaxy. The
largest galaxy, according to livescience.com, is IC 1101, 1101.
Why don't you say it's sexy?
Because I don't say them sexy. You say them sexy.
IC 1101.
Oh, no. Don't add that at the end. No. Let's see. It is our galaxy is 100,000 light years across, which is average. We're average. Sun's average. Our galaxy's average. We're just average. What can we say? It's humans. IC 1101 is 50 times larger and about 2,000 times more massive.
Okay, that was going to be the next question.
That is a big ass galaxy.
All right, so 2,000?
2,000 times the mass of our galaxy.
So if we have 100 billion stars in it, this has 2 trillion stars in it. Holy shit. Wait. No. What? No, it's more than that. It's like 200 trillion. There's like 200 trillion stars in it.
Oh my gosh. That is a
massive massive ass galaxy.
Okay, so it's so big. If it was placed where the Milky Way is now, its edge would reach past Andromeda.
Oh, damn. And it has 200 trillion stars in it.
Oh my god, that one wins.
That one wins. That is that's the badass in the universe right there. IC 1101.
Holy shit. That makes me just fascinating to see like what is life? Like what's that life look like? Is that the Star Wars galaxy? Cuz it's big, a lot of shit can happen.
That's true.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I referenced Star Wars. That's a drink.
You just said
Look,
Star Wars.
Don't sigh. We made these rules. But by the way, before we get to another question, is it too big? How many Skittles are in IC?
Oh my god. 42.
Just a quick little detour since this episode's about nebulae. The largest nebula is the Tarantula Nebula, which is my nightmare. Let's see. It stretches for more than 1,800 light years at its longest span.
Damn, that's pretty big.
It's a stellar nursery, so its stars are being born in that spider. It's a big ass spider.
Is it in one of the Magellanic Clouds?
Yeah, it's in the Large Magellanic Cloud.
So, closest galaxy to the Milky Way. Well, last I heard, it was the closest. I think there might be actually one that's closer.
Oh man!
All right, so let's get to. All right, we have to suspend all Star Wars drinking for this one.
For this question, because it's just okay.
All right, so on Tatooine there are 2 suns. If we had 2 suns, what would be the effect on life? Well, probably there would be no
dead.
life.
It'd all be there. Wouldn't even evolved on Earth,
or it would not look like life as we know it. So
just all.
First of all, it is harder for planets to form around two suns
because it's a lot of radiation.
It's a lot of gravity.
Oh! I didn't even think about gravity.
Just forming is a lot of gravity, but if you look at this at Tatooine is actually orbiting those 2 stars, right?
Yeah, that's how it works, right? It has to orbit the 2
stars. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you can orbit one star or the other star.
Oh.
You can. There are orbits that are permissible that you can do that, but it all depends on how far away these stars are from each other. You can actually even have an orbit that's not stable, but you can have an orbit that would actually go between the 2. But it's not stable.
Okay, so wait. But if you have 2, because the sun's on Tatooine, those stars are binary stars.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have binary stars, but you have planets orbiting each one separately, are those their own sun systems, planetary systems, or are they what's happening because the stars are like what kind of planetary system is that? Like a binary solar system or planetary system? I mean,
yeah, because each star, Tatooine A has its planets and B has its planets, but then going around them you have Tatooine A and B's planets together.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think that Tatooine actually orbits the 2 stars. The stars are always together in those pictures, and so
that's true. So it goes. So it's.
I mean, we can look on Wikipedia.
I mean, well, it's got to be far enough away then.
Yeah, and so
to fit 2 stars in its orbit.
So let's just, for the moment, let's pretend that Jupiter is 80 times bigger and is a small star.
Okay.
So Jupiter really, in all honesty, if Jupiter were 80 times bigger, it actually would be a small red star. Mm-hmm. So what would happen if that were the case? Well, first of all, the Earth's orbit really could not exist. As it stands now, Jupiter is just a planet. We have this nice orbit around the sun. But if Jupiter were a star, that's extra mass. It's going to pull us out of this
gravity.
orbit. It's more gravity. And so our orbit would not be stable. So life on Earth just couldn't exist. But also, throw in the fact that these little red stars are highly temperamental and always burping out radiation and flares and stuff like that. And so even if our orbit was stable, which it couldn't be, but even if it was stable, Jupiter star would just sterilize this planet. So, our best hope is to be, your only hope, is to be going around the two stars. And if you get far enough out,
then you won't.
Then you can have a stable orbit, but you still got to deal with that pesky Jupiter star, that small Jupiter star.
I mean, still a lot of radiation, so you'd have to be far enough away to where you can have a good temperature that's habitable at, depending on the species. By the way, all the species in Star Wars, they all have, they would have evolved on different gravities, with different methods of, temperature.
Again, I asked the question. How come when you go from one Star Wars planet to the other, somebody doesn't whip out sunglasses? I
go outside, I need sunglasses. And I used to not wear sunglasses that often in Northern California, but after I moved to Phoenix, now I have to wear sunglasses all the time.
Yeah. Well, Tatooine is a desert planet for a reason. You are getting a lot of light and heat from these two stars.
That's true.
And yeah.
That would mean that then all the planets around those stars are going to be more desert-like.
Well, not necessarily.
Unless they're, way farther out. But Tatooine's already the planet furthest from, so...
From the... well, not from those stars. Good thing we don't have to drink.
I was making a joke.
Yeah. So if we had two suns, it would drastically affect us. We would need for that second star to be pretty far out, and actually probably a little bit bigger than just a red dwarf star.
But if we're, oh, you mean far? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So if it's kind of let's say an orange star.
Yeah.
But kind of much further out. Then the Earth's orbit could be stable. Mm-hmm. Sure, we would have extra energy coming into us.
But we would have probably evolved to compensate for that.
Yeah. So that's a great question. It really is. We'd be fucked, basically.
Yeah. In a nutshell. Fucked.
Yeah, if we had a star at Jupiter's location.
So it's a good thing that Jupiter, our sun turned on before it could collect any extra mass.
Yeah, that's true, and kind of blew away
all that extra debris and dust and gas that
prevent Jupiter from becoming a star. But also, Jupiter being a really massive planet has actually protected us quite a bit from incoming asteroids and comets and stuff. Kind of deflected a lot of them out of the solar system. So Jupiter has gone a long way in protecting the inner solar system from a lot of demise, death, and destruction. Yes.
And yes, you do make a good point. That you would need higher sunscreen SPF on Tatooine.
Yeah.
I'd say 1,000 minimum.
Yeah, probably.
Minimum.
What is the highest SPF, and do you really need that?
Well, I've seen up to 100. I don't know if I've seen higher than 100.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you can just stay out in the sun 100 times longer?
Is that what it means? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think it works that way.
You're talking to a person that rarely puts on sunscreen.
Yeah, you need to put on sunscreen.
Okay. Maybe next week.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if there's any planets that have life that are could there I suppose I should ask, could there be any planets that have life on them somewhere that are still possibly in that nebula? are in a nebula.
Mm.
And they get, it's like when you watch, like, Thor and they have those beautiful shots of, like, nebulae and being in a nebula or super close to that nebula. It's like, are there any plants that could be in a nebula and be able to perceive
see
it?
the nebula? God, I would probably say not. But what they say, that life evolved here started here on Earth relatively quickly, right? I mean, it was within like half a billion years, right? 500 million years.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Pleiades. Pleiades are 400 million years old. One of those stars could possibly have single-celled life on it in some kind of fashion. They aren't going to. They're not going to perceive the nebula like we see their nebula. Mm-hmm. But having said that, that is us making the assumption that life resembles life in some way that here on Earth.
Right.
And so, is that a good assumption to make?
No.
Well, yes and no.
I guess it's more along the lines like, could by the time a planet forms, like. Well, no, never mind. We already answered this, where the sun, after it formed, it was still in the nebula, and then it took some time to dissipate. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors for life. I mean, does the planet have an atmosphere? And that atmosphere is highly important. You need it to, protect this baby life from harmful radiation. Like our sun, our atmosphere protects us from the sun every single day from harmful UV radiation. That's why when there's when they talk about the hole in the ozone layer, that's a big fucking thing, and people in New Zealand are rightly concerned about it.
Yeah.
And because it
brings in more death rays from space.
Exactly. So the ozone layer blocks a lot of UV light. And when you have a hole in it, the UV light's able to come through, and
not to mention can then like gamma, because I mean gamma gets totally blocked.
Yeah, gamma gets blocked, X-rays get blocked, but I don't remember what blocks them, but I know ozone blocks the UV.
Oh, okay.
And ozone, by the way, is 3 oxygen atoms together, and and so UV is able to destroy that really easily, but that's what protects us. But also chlorofluorocarbons, CFLs, which used to be in like all kinds of sprays.
Yeah, the aerosol cans and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that breaks down ozone. And so, it's an amazing thing that in the 80s, we realized that this caused a problem. And we came together, Democrats, Republicans, Americans, Russians, or Soviets at the time, just people around the world of all political types of beliefs, came together and said, all right, CFLs are the cause of this, let's ban them. And we fucking did it.
Wow.
Fast forward 40 years, 35 years, and we're having a debate, is climate change real? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we've already demonstrated that we can affect the planet in very bad ways.
This is why we're doomed. Because for some reason we can't seem to come together now and to fix the problem. But 35 years ago we did it. And
then I was born.
The bringer of death.
The bringer of death.
Okay, there is an inside thing to
We're
that.
Not gonna, you don't need to worry about it.
But it is a joke for us. So,
anyway.
Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. 35 years ago.
35 years ago, we were able to come together and affect change on the Earth that was beneficial. And the ozone layer has been relatively healthy ever since. And, but now we're just going to fuck it all to hell. So, yay. Yay, humans.
And then we'll kind of get to experience maybe what it is like to live on Tatooine. but with one sun.
I know, right? I know.
Killing us slowly.
Yeah, God.
I mean, it's going to kill us slowly anyway, as we discussed earlier in the main episode with how it's going to turn into a planetary nebula as it dies.
It's funny, on Tatooine, nobody has sunburns.
Well, they've evolved. Well, actually, how many people actually grew up there or evolved on Tatooine? Because you got a lot of people coming in.
Just Luke.
I bet he was born there, so his evolution is based on his DNA. So, I mean, I guess, a species had evolved there where they would be resistant, or they would have a high, melanin and content, or...
And how did Jar Jar just not melt?
Why is Jar Jar? Let's just not even...
Anyway. What's
cool.
the next question? I don't even know. Did we ask you what your favorite nebula is? Other than...
Yeah, we did, and I started to answer, and then we got distracted by a bunch of shit, and it was the Orion Nebula, and then started talking about the Ring Nebula. I also like the Cat's Eye Nebula.
Oh, the Cat's Eye is beautiful.
But... there's also... God, there's so many nebulae. The Tarantula Nebula is real nice. There's the one that I have on my background screensaver, which I think is something Wayne Westland some number. It's like a weird, it doesn't have like a name.
I have the Orion Nebula as mine.
I mean, all the nebulae, I think, are just...
You can't look at them and go, hey, that's an ugly nebula.
An ugula? Is an ugula?
There's an ugula nebula.
I think, I don't know, nebulae make my favorite space pictures aside from galactic mergers.
Oh yeah, galactic mergers.
Galactic mergers, like the Antenna Galaxy, those are like some of my favorite space images. But then nebula, aside from those, nebulae are...
I think it would be awesome to be in the Antennae Nebula. And watching this happen. I mean, when you look at the Antennae Nebula, that is the future of the Milky Way galaxy within the Andromeda galaxy.
Yes, which we discussed a bit on our "Why is the Milky Way made of milk?" episode.
Yeah, and so I just think that would be an absolute cool ass thing to see.
I don't know if we discussed this on our episode, but how fast is that in a human lifespan, would you perceive any difference in the sky?
Not really.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
It's a slow motion wreck.
So really, it works out best if you're like a vampire or something, where you're immortal and you can just watch. If you're immortal, this is another benefit to immortality. If you're immortal, you can watch the universe change.
Yeah, that's true. I think the only time that you can see it probably in a human lifetime would be there towards the end when stars really are moving quite quick.
You got a lot of...
Yeah. But even then, it's...
It's like, oh, when I was born...
It was here.
And now it's
over there.
Over here.
Yeah.
It moved one thumb length.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's probably what it'll be. Otherwise, we got some serious issues with the speed of light and stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
That would be a great test of general theory of relativity.
Does it need any more tests, or is it pretty good?
I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
At this point, I think it's pretty good.
And now our segment. Like and now our segment. How's general relativity doing?
Doing good. It's doing good today. But tomorrow's a new day, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Anyway, well, I think this has been a fun.
Yeah, it's been a fun episode, and whippersnapper moments. All right, so I think we should call it a day.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let everybody get back to their Mother's Day festivities.
Yeah, and again, Happy Mother's Day to all our podcast
just your
mothers.
Sunday festivities. And we don't know what we're talking about next time in 2 weeks. But we'll figure it out, and we'll let you know.
It'll be space related.
It'll be most like I don't know what gives me this feeling, but it will most likely be space related.
Something to do with the cosmos.
Something.
And you know what? We're gonna have cosmos while we talk about the cosmos.
Are we gonna have cosmos?
Well, we'll have
like
something.
real cosmos.
One day we never.
One day we actually should make some cosmos to go with the cosmos.
We should. Maybe that's in 2 weeks. Who knows?
We'll see. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys, on this episode of The Hangover and talking about nebulae with a foray into various other things. On the road with Brandon. We'll do a on the road segment.
Yeah, great.
That'd be good.
I do believe he'll be here in 2 weeks, but we'll
see.
We never know.
But
we
it's
never
fine.
know. All right, so we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Stay safe, stay healthy, look to the skies, and cheers, everybody.
Adios.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. We're not gone. I can't see the button. All right. I gotta go to this button. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Some of you in person.
Yay.